What's up everyone, welcome back to Beyond ARTV. My name is John and you're tuned into my series Dear Jon. Dear Jon is an interactive Q&A series that I have right here on Beyond ARTV where I take a detailed viewer question and then I answer it in video form if I feel it needs more context or explanation. Today we're going to be preying on the fake music fans, or are we? That's what the question is all about. We're going to be talking about fake fans and then people who discover bands or artists because of a TV soundtrack, a movie soundtrack, maybe a video game. Does that make you a fake fan if you only know a couple of songs? We're going to get into it in just a second, but please, if you enjoy the video today, help out by dropping a like on the video. And what's this around my neck? Oh, that's right. It's time to hear from today's sponsor, Massdrop. Massdrop is a community-driven site that lets its members help pick which products get made next. You guys know how important quality music playback is for me and my channels, so Massdrop reached out and sent me the amazing HD58X, one of their collaborations with the respected audio brand Sennheiser. The 58X features a comfortable and durable open-ear design, capturing a sound that will please both casual and more experienced music fans. Uncomfortable headphones are a major no-no, and it seems like it's getting harder than ever to find a good quality pair of headphones that don't make your ears suffer in the process. If you're looking for a comfortable headphone that you almost forget you're wearing at times, the HD58X model from Massdrop and Sennheiser is your new go-to. I've already logged plenty of hours with these, and the felt ear design is a slice of heaven. They're actually priced significantly lower than the competitors, and they've gained hundreds of 5-star reviews from actual users. It's a no-brainer here. The current drop for this pair is live now, so click the top link in the description to get yours before they sell out. Time to get to the actual question. I like trains, with the American Idiot profile picture being super on point. Had to ask, Dear Jon, what do you think about people discovering songs and bands from video games, TV shows, and films? I know that usually sounds great, but does it get really annoying when someone only knows one really popular song because it was in something popular? Or do you view it as a good thing because a person might get into the song and then become a fan of the band? Thank you for that detailed question, I Like Trains. I'm glad that you like them so much. And first and foremost, let me say that I would be a total hypocrite if I came down on anybody for getting into an artist or a band because of a soundtrack to a movie or a video game or whatever. That's how I got into so many bands when I was a teenager, because I didn't have full-time access to the internet. I know, I was in the dial-up ages. I got a lot of my music from video game soundtracks like NASCAR Thunder 2004, the TV show Scrubs, and even Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2. That's how I found Rise Against, Avenged Sevenfold, a lot of other rock bands, and then Scrubs got me into some slower stuff like Death Cab for Cutie. It's crazy to see how that shaped my music taste so much. So right up front, I want to say that no, absolutely, that does not make you a fake fan because you got into them because you heard a song somewhere. I honestly like it when bands license out their stuff to be used in a movie or a soundtrack or a commercial, because it worked out for like Walk the Moon and other groups that have used their stuff for like a commercial for, say, Apple or another company. I'm not exactly 100% sure which ones have been used where, but I know I've heard a lot of these alternative and pop songs used in little commercials for phones and whatever, and it kind of blows them up. You see them start going a little bit viral, they get attention on Spotify or maybe even iTunes, and this was a big swing, especially in the late 2000s, early 2010s. A lot of bands like Fun gained a lot of notoriety thanks to their song like We Are Young being used in a Super Bowl commercial. On the other hand, I can totally get why it's annoying, especially if people don't dig any deeper. They just hear the one song and you're like, okay, but you know Gautier had other songs other than Somebody That I Used to Know, or you know Shut Up and Dance isn't the only Walk the Moon track in existence. It sucks, but also at the same time, it's like, you opened the door a little bit. Maybe someday they'll get there if somebody just gives them a little push. Of course, popular music has changed a lot in the past decade, so it's harder to cross over to the mainstream if you're in a certain genre, and maybe even less movies are featuring songs of this variety. But when I do hear them pop up, I always think to myself, like, maybe this will be somebody's introduction to that band, because I know how I felt the first time I ever heard I Will Follow You Into the Dark by Death Cab for Cutie in an episode of Scrubs. I know how I felt the first time I heard Winter in an episode of Scrubs. A lot of my music taste was influenced by Zach Braff. Thanks to that, Garden State, his film soundtrack there, and also harder mainstream rock stuff at the time thanks to video game soundtracks because I played a lot of racing games. A huge example I can think of is sports games. I've heard people talk time and time again about how they discovered a certain band or an artist because of their feature or their placement in the soundtrack for FIFA or for NHL or for NBA. And it's interesting to see that these 2K games blow up to the point where they have active users that are so passionate about the songs on the soundtrack that they end up getting into other stuff, maybe by AWOL Nation, maybe by Wolf Alice. But I've heard people say, that was my discovery of Wolf Alice, and that was my discovery of Walk the Moon. And that's an awesome thing. It's not just alternative or rock bands, it's also rap artists. Just look to the NBA soundtrack. They've got awesome stuff, remixes on there sometimes, and if that's how you got introduced to the music, then who cares? That's awesome. You found it, and now you can go further towards the light. Wait, that sounded like, no, not further. Further away from the light? I don't know. Despite the fact that I seem to have confused myself with that analogy, I'm not confused at all. I know my stance on things, and no, it does not make you a fake fan just because you got into X because of One Tree Hill, or you got into a certain band because you heard it on the soundtrack to some super obscure indie game that you'd never admit that you actually play.
Hey John, I got into 3-6 Mafia because of RuneScape.
Oh really? I got into Casey Musgraves because of Need for Speed Underground 3.
Oh yeah? Well, I got you both beat. I got into Lord because of her replacement on the 1984 version of Pac-Man.
You see how silly these arguments can become? Don't try and one-up each other, but seriously, in the comments section down below, let me know, what is a band or an artist that you genuinely discovered because of a TV soundtrack, because you heard it in a movie, or maybe you were playing a game and you were like, what's this? And you Shazammed it, or whatever the hell else the kids use to identify songs these days. Whatever you did, how did you find them? What was the soundtrack? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please drop a like on this video, and if you want to be a part of a future Dear Jon episode, then leave a detailed response down below. Thanks again to Massdrop for sponsoring this video. It's sponsors like that truly do help the channel out big time, so if you guys could, go show them some love. It's the top link down below. Pick up a pair of headphones for yourself. They're incredibly comfortable. If you would like to also see a couple of recent videos, then tap these links right below me here. Socials can be found in the description, and I'll see you soon for more on Beyond ARTV.